Hello and welcome to the Lost Pines Workshop. I'm JC Jensen. So wow, we're up to episode 20 already. And for episode 20, we're now ready to cut the joint into the back legs. But to start, we're going to address this adder piece that we cut. I believe that was 4 degrees. I don't remember what the angle was at this point, but we glued it onto our seat pad, right? And on the back, it's proud. For me, it's proud. Oh, that's a quarter up to 3/8 of an inch. It's kind of proud back here on the back. On the seat pad side itself, we've got it flush. Well, now I'm going to run this over to the bandsaw real quick and trim this down, and then just take my block plane and flatten it out even with the back. We don't need all of this, and it kind of gets in the way of being able to see what we're doing when we're cutting this leg joint on the table saw. All right, so stick around. All right, so I just ran it through the bandsaw and took off the bulk of it, and then I've just decided, since I'm kind of dealing with a curve, I'll just go with a spoke shave to clean this mess off. Again, I'm hitting glue, so yay, I get to sharpen more blades. The spoke shave should make pretty quick work of it. All right, that's enough. All right, so I've got this flattened off. So from where we are now in the instructions, well, if you're like Hal and you're going to use that kerf maker, then what I'm doing now is totally unnecessary. But I'm not using the kerf maker. Therefore, I am transferring my cut lines. So we'll be cutting this face, right, the pad with the slope on it, as well as the front of the pad here. These are the two sides we're going to cut. I am transferring my two cut lines that I've clearly defined all the way around so that I have very good visual of everything that's going on. I transferred it up across the back or the outside, extended it up here. I'm not going to use a square side reference. I'm simply going to connect the two dots back here. Again, this is for my visual reference when I'm cutting this on the table saw. Now I have a clearly defined path. I'm not actually cutting this, but that's the area from the other two sides that will be cut. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing on this other leg, and then we'll move over to the table saw. Okay, so over here now at the table saw, if you're using the kerf cutter, then follow the instructions, knock yourself out. But for me and those that don't, here's what I came up with. So I put on a new piece, sacrificial fence here, and my dado stack is set exactly as it was for the front legs. So I've got the 1/2 inch of height, right? And I'm using 9/16, so I get a double pass and it overlaps within the notch. So I attached this sacrificial fence here with the same setup, and I went ahead and pushed it through the blade so that I had a clearly defined area of cut. All right, then I simply just drew the lines up the fence and across the top here, since it's short, so that I can visually see what I'm doing. That's the blade. And for me, for both lines, the very tip of the blade is halfway through that line. All right. Over here on my right, the fence side, I've installed this stop block. So we take the leg, and I'm starting with the right leg. All right. We're going to be cutting our tapered side, our pad side. This is the pad side, and this is the adder side with the bevel on it. We're cutting it first. So we're going to lay that down. And see, I've already set my stop block so that we're cutting the top seat notch first. Okay, and I'm in line with my lines up here at the top. I'm flat on the pad on my stop block. Over here to the right, rotate that around. You see, I've created a kickstand simply just by taking a piece of scrap and clamping it to the leg to support all this weight so that this doesn't want, it takes all the rock out of it, right? And the kickstand is on the sled. So that stabilizes everything. So now I'm just simply ready to make this cut. All I have to do is hold it in place and let it rip. Okay? After I make the first cut, I'll remove the stop block, slide it to the right, line up the lines, go through the process, and I'll make the second cut. All right? If you're using the Kerf cutter, it's the cut portion it's the same process. You're still going to use the kickstand. The only difference is you're using the stop block, or the Kerf cutter as basically your stop block, right? For your first cut and your second cut. I'm doing it manually. Okay, so we've got the first groove carved out, right? We were oriented to the right. This is the right leg, oriented to the right for the first pass. Took care of that. For our second cut, we have to flip it over the other way, oriented to the right. Now we're going to be cutting the face of the pad. For this method, I'm following Hal's technique, sort of, all right? So what he does is he makes a block that fits precisely in our groove cutout here. and we slide it in from the back so it just protrudes. Whoops, just knocked it out. Back in there. All right, so it just protrudes. I've got mine out a little over 1/4 of an inch. And what that's going to do for us is actually locate using this notch, because it is now going to be facing our rear fence, and it locates the position that we need to be in so that the groove that we cut is in direct alignment with the one that we've already done. So now I'm starting again on the top end, and I'll simply locate it using that block. Now again, Hal's using that kerf maker and clamping that in place with a stop block. That's where I'm going to deviate again, just slightly. I still got the kickstand over here now on my left where I flipped it around, but I'm going to clamp this guy in place to the fence with a clamp on either side. All right, so now I know it's in place, properly located. I'll double check here. Yep, properly located on the block, tight against the fence and flat on the bottom. So now I just simply slide my block out of the way and make my first pass. Remove my clamps. I'm going to slide my block back in. Right there. Okay, now I'm going to slide to the left till I make contact with the bottom side of the notch. Clamp it back in place again. Flat against the fence and flat on the bottom. Double check. Good to go. Remove the block. Make the second pass. So there's the second pass in direct alignment with the first pass, or the front notch, side notch. Yeah, you get the idea. All right, so with that completed, I'll do exactly the same thing on the second leg, and then we'll move on. So I'm back over at the workbench, and I've lightly clamped the leg to my bench, so we're not getting any movement. And since I use a dado stack, I get those little ridges. So I'm going to use my router plane first to smooth this out and make it level across, right? We're shooting for a depth of 1/2 inch plus a few thousandths so that we can actually fit it on the joint. So I'm going to start with my router plane, and I'm simply just going to clean off all of the ridges, right? And I'm working from the outside in, so if there won't be any tear out on this outside surface. If there's any tear out, it'll be inside the joint itself. I'll just take several really small passes. All the way here into the corner. Get that corner cleaned out. I'll come back the other way. Without changing anything, I'm simply going to roll this leg over, flip it around, again working from the outside in, just light so it doesn't move. And I always like to start in the middle, work my way out both directions. All right, so now I'm going to go to the seat and just check it. I know I've got to go deeper, but I want to get an initial feel for how much I still need to take. And I'm going to do that off of the seat joint itself rather than using measurements, right? I'm going to fit it to the seat. With the router planing done, I'm now test fitting on my joint here. And if you look here on the left side, right there, see I've got 64th maybe ish, that I need to take this just a smidgen deeper, and I'm going to do that with 220 sandpaper. I'm just going to take my time, sand a little bit, fit it, sand a little bit, fit it, and I'll do the same thing on the other side of the joint and where it meets the back of the chair until it gets perfect. With the back leg fitted in the seat, can now evaluate where I need to do a little more work. In this case, along this face here, it's hard to tell, but I have took my handy little feeler gauge here, my automotive days, and I was able to get it in here. It's 4/1000 of an inch. It's the same on the bottom side of the seat. So what this tells me, since I have that on both sides of the seat, is that the notch, I need to sand the notch just a tiny bit to bring this whole face in flush on this edge. All right, I've kind of got the same thing going at the bottom, but it's not consistent. It's tight back here, and then it opens up. What that's telling me, and I can see the point of contact, is about right here on the curve, where it's making contact, preventing this corner from rolling all the way down in. So I'm going to work on these one at a time. All right, so I'll sand the notch to close this gap and then reevaluate. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to sand the notch to bring this in, and probably sand this corner on both the top and the bottom to bring that bottom gap in nice and tight. So getting your back legs to fit perfectly in this corner with the roundover can be a little tedious. Please just take your time, right? Really evaluate all the contact points to see what may potentially keep it from fully seating. Take your time. All right, but once you've achieved it and your joint is perfect, we go back and we kerf the leg where it meets the seat all the way around, and we kerf the seat. On the top, I went all the way around on the seat, so the top, the side, and the bottom, top, the side, and the bottom on the seat, as well as your leg. All right. Once you're done with that, we're done with the back legs for now. Next, we're going to move on to working on the seat some more. So, hey, if you like my videos, remember to hit that like button, please. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road.